Hey, what's going on, guys? So, thanks for tuning in. So, today I was looking at the news and I was seeing about global warming and how people think that we are causing global warming by burning fossil fuels, and how the temperatures are really just rising. And hey, we're really at the end of our, of humanity. So let's talk about this. So the title of today's talk is really, it's called "Global Warming is True, but Yet It's Fake." So first of all, global temperatures have been on the rise and have been on the upward trend for at least the past 120 years. I'm looking at a chart that says 1860. Okay, at 1860, it was measured at, as far as average temperatures in Celsius, it was measured at 13.6, and at 2000, it's now 14.4. And every decade it's gone up. Every decade. So I don't know why people who are global warming proponents, and they always want to tell you that burning fossil fuels, we're causing our own demise. I don't believe that. And look, I do believe that yes, burning less fossil fuels is good for your lungs. It's good for the environment because it puts out acid rain and toxins into the environment, and we don't need that. It's not good. But to come up here with a false narrative and say that global warming has been caused by mankind and has been caused because we are burning too many fossil fuels, I think that's crazy. So I'm going to tell you why. So the first thing that we have to look at is that temperatures have been on the rise. In truth, and this is known information. You can go on websites or do knowledge checks in your library, in books. The temperatures have been rising for the past 11,000 years. 11,000 years they've been climbing. All right? So, again, this is documented information. All right? I'm looking at a site right here. A graph right here from nasa.gov. And it says, right here, it says the rate of sea level rise slowed between 14,000 and 12,000 years ago during the younger Dryas cold period, and was succeeded by another surge in meltwater pulse 11,500 to 11,000 years ago, when the sea level may have jumped by 28 meters, according to. So look, I don't understand what we're missing here. Why are people not being informed? Why are we being told half of the story? And people are just taking little tidbits of information and running off with it, instead of doing complete research and being sensible. But they're going off the deep end. There was this girl who was on. We all know who she was. She was some girl who was in Europe, and she went to the UN and was lashing all the leaders of the world and telling them, you need to do this, you need to do that. This girl was about 16 years old. What's her name? Greta something? I forgot her name. But anyway, what does this 16-year-old person really know about anything? I mean, have you really been around long enough to know what is what and how the world works? And I mean, who's paying this girl to do this? I mean, it didn't work. People don't buy it. I think most people don't buy it. But it didn't work. This little devilish little girl comes over here and is scowling and telling people that we're ruling the world because we're burning fossil fuels. I mean, go figure. Again, I looked online when I saw the articles and it had comments in the section. People weren't buying what this girl was saying. They weren't buying it. Most people weren't. You just have a narrative that, I don't know why, but our media is pushing this narrative about global warming, and it's just not true. Look, there are a lot of scientists who do agree that, global warming has been caused by fossil fuels. But there's still another large group who believes that it's not. And then there's another group of scientists who say, you know what, I don't know what's going on. So I think people need to understand that, first of all, if you look at the history of the Earth, it's been warming. It's been warming. I mean, look, we learned that the Great Lakes were formed by glaciers thousands and thousands of years ago. And the ice pushed down and made an indentation, and the lakes are there. And all the melted water is in the lake, right? We learned that there were glaciers in places thousands of years ago, and they're not there now. We learned that the Sahara Desert was lush and green as recently as 5,000 years ago. It had lakes, it had lush greenlands, and certain places they say it was even like subtropical, right? So I just don't, again, I don't understand what this craze is about. I mean, if you do a quick search and do quick research, you'll see that the Earth has been heating for at least the past 15 to 11,000 years. So again, madness. And on my last point here, my thing is that, so why are they pushing a narrative about global warming and why the lies? And I have really three reasons for this. And I know a lot of people are going to say, you're far out, you're a conspiracy theorist. No, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. This is just a theory, right? But again, we know that temps have been on the rise for 11,000 years at least. And we know that these people are saying that burning of fossil fuels has caused this. Well, last I checked, the Industrial Revolution started like around like 1850, 1860. Before that, there really was no burning of fossil fuels. I mean, coal was the first major fuel that was burned that was considered a fossil fuel. And that was like in the 1800s, mid at best. All right, so you're telling me that over the span of 150 years, we changed the coal climate by just burning the amount of coal and oil that we found and natural gas? Come on, I don't believe it. So anyway, my first theory is that there's a control theory, right? So my theory is that scientists already know the science behind this. They know the Earth has been warming. They know that it's going to continue to warm, but they have to convince people to really to kind of say, look, we're going to have natural disasters, which they know are going to happen anyway, with more hurricanes, and because the Earth is warming, they know that. So they're saying that these catastrophes are blamed, or should be to blame, by mankind because mankind has been reckless. Because, right? So if mankind has been reckless, we've not been able to get all these countries on board with climate control because countries are pulling out, and China's burning more fossil fuel than Germany or the U.S. So they're going to say is that mankind caused all this crazy disaster, right? They're going to say we did that because we burned fuel. But in reality, again, they know we didn't. This is going to happen anyway. And they're doing this because they want to form, this is just one other phase of world government, because you can't have governance of the world unless you have problems. And those problems will be, world governance will be the solution to those problems. Situations like total monetary collapse, or a situation like global warming, because